Okay, welcome. We are driving together on my way to Lila, so welcome. Join me on my lovely drive. I get to drive through the reservation, so I'll be driving nice and slowly, although it might feel like it's fast to you, but I'm only going to be going 25 miles an hour, and it's through the woods. Beautiful. It's the best start to the day. Yeah, so I'm back from Russia, and if you happen to catch my Sunday service that I did before I left, I felt like I was coming down with something. I was feeling a little under the weather, but because I was traveling, I threw everything at it that I normally do, and I ended up not coming down with something, not really. So I was quickly on the other side of that. And then, so I was away 3 weeks, as you know, or maybe you don't, but I was away 3 weeks, 21 days. And then when I came back, that whatever it was waiting for me. So it seemed to pick up where it left off, and I thought, okay, so it must be in something that I have now come in contact with. And I wondered whether it was my toothbrush. And now I've spoken to a few people about this, friends and regulars to Lila, and it seems to be common knowledge that things get caught by your toothbrush. So what happened was I have a separate toothbrush that I take with me when I travel. So that's that. It ended up breaking, actually, and then I got another new nice big Russian toothbrush to replace that one. Anyway, so when I talked to my friends about it, they said, yeah, you know, I pour peroxide over my toothbrush or boiling water. A lass I talked to said that she puts it in the dishwasher. That was interesting. So I have had the thought before that is it possible that lurgies hide in the bristles of the toothbrush, bacteria, that kind of thing, and then if you're, a little run down or depleted, then it can have its way with you. So, thinking upon that too, I've also had the thought about straws, right? We're in this reusable straw culture. I'm not a fan of straws. I don't really use straws. I wondered that too, if they're not properly cleaned out with a straw brush and really, really hot water to kill off any of that bacteria. And my other thought too, and one thing I've noticed or speculated on is I might buy, a kombucha in a glass bottle, and then for a while I'll use that just for water here in the car. And I've wondered too, if I don't wash it regularly, whether that can start to create the conditions for, say, a sore throat, congestion, that kind of thing. So keeping in mind that our sinuses, our lungs are our first line of defense for bacteria that are airborne or that we come in contact with through surfaces and food and so on. And so what I did when I started to feel like, again, I was coming down with something, that I was picking up where I left off, my first approach is a steam bowl. And my inner circle are very familiar with my steam bowl. I've taught everybody it. And so the standard steam bowl comes from my childhood, and basically it's eucalyptus oil. It's eucalyptus oil, hot water in a bowl. You pop your head over the bowl, a towel over your head, and you breathe in that vapor, in the steam. So over the years, that recipe has become a little bit more complicated for me, and I think more effective as a result. What I've learned with essential oils, that it's better if they're emulsified, and so the easiest way to emulsify the oil, so in this case is the eucalyptus oil, is through salt. And also we really should, when we're steaming, we should steam with a saline solution, not just with plain water, because actually plain water steam can also create the conditions for infection. So now it's, I don't know, we can go with half a teaspoon or even a teaspoon of salt at the bottom of the glass bowl. Drop the essential oils, 3 drops, 4 drops, not many, 5 drops maybe, but really not many, directly onto the salt. And with my steambowl recipe, I also put in thinly sliced or chopped, even crushed garlic, the clove of a garlic, because it is antimicrobial, antibacterial, just as with the eucalyptus. And then I add thyme or rosemary. Thyme specifically is an antitussant. And so I'll put in a teaspoon of dried thyme or a tablespoon of fresh thyme, chop it up. And that's the traditional steambowl recipe that I've taught everybody. But so now when I came back from Russia, I was staying with my dear friend Laura, and she had oil of oregano, and she had, pine needle tea. And I thought, yeah, that'll work. So on the salt, I put on the oil of oregano, and then just tore up the tea bag for the pine needle tea, put that in a bowl. And so I do a steam bowl at least once a day when I'm working on something. It did go to my chest. It was pretty gnarly, what was coming up. But if you're really, really working on something, you might want to do it twice a day. So that would be, upon waking in the morning, and then also before you go to bed. And in addition to that, I also make a garlic, lemon, ginger optional tea, and I drink that throughout the day. So here is the fun hack though. So using the oil of oregano, when it's diluted like that, it's digestible. You can ingest oil of oregano. I don't recommend it full strength personally, but I don't know, some people do. Again, I'm not giving medical advice, I'm just sharing what I do. And so just 3 or 4 drops of oil of oregano on the salt directly, along with the garlic, in this case pine needle tea. Pour the just boiled water into the bowl, directly onto the salt if you want to. And then again, you put your head over the bowl, a towel over your head, and you're breathing very, very deeply for about 15 minutes in a concentrated way, right through the nose, getting right into the sinuses. And you want to blow your nose frequently, and then breathing deeply through the mouth into the lungs, and then coughing up, even forcing yourself to cough up what's in there. I noticed the eucalyptus oil does a really great job of breaking the stuff up in a way that was different to the oil of oregano. However, the fun hack though is that after the oil of oregano and the pine needle tea steam bowl, I thought, I can just reheat this and then pour it into a mug, add the juice of half a lemon, and then I have my lemon drink to go. So without wasting it, because usually I'm doubling up on that kind of thing. So I thought I would share that alternative to the steam bowl. But just know these therapies, steam therapies, work when you're dealing with something respiratory or sinus infections. It's very effective. And this is how I knew back in the day, in the beginnings of 2020. I was waiting, I was listening for the public health officials, authorities, to say that in the face of this novel respiratory bug, none of them talked about just the obvious things for preventative and early intervention care. None of them talked about it. Obvious things. Making sure you're really well hydrated, making sure you're cutting out sugar and dairy, making sure you're spending time in the sun, out in nature, breathing that good air, making sure that you are supplementing with high levels of vitamin C, zinc as well. Zinc is, I mean, there's so many studies on zinc about its efficacy, its potency for cold, flu, respiratory things. And what helps zinc go into the cells is a catechin in green tea, but also quercetin. And so these are just basic, almost what everyone should know as part of their, as again, early intervention and or preventative measures, steps during cold and flu season, if they've been around somebody who seems to be coming down with something, or if they themselves start to feel like they have a scratchy throat or whatever. So just to finish here, in addition, I will immediately, because oftentimes it includes aches and pains. I didn't actually have any kinds of aches and pains. I actually didn't feel sick at all. It just was entirely nasal and lung. But I also make sure that I take a nice hot bath with 1-to-1 ratio of baking soda and Epsom salt. I might add eucalyptus oil directly to the salts as well in the bath. And for a sore throat, scratchy throat, you want to gargle throughout the day, regularly, frequently, deeply, for about a good minute with as warm as you can stand it, as warm as is comfortable. Salty as the sea, hot water. So that's going to depend the quantity of the salt, depending on how much water you put in there. So you might want to experiment with that, but you might want to start with half a teaspoon. It could even be a teaspoon of salt, warm water, gargling very, very deeply. So yes, and so again, just in summary, just make sure that you are either throwing away your toothbrush if you're sick, if you've come down with something, throw away your toothbrush or pour boiling water over it. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to recommend the dishwasher idea, but yes, I mean, you can use peroxide if you don't feel like getting a new toothbrush. That's one way. And then also same with bottles that you might be reusing, and straws. Because I've had that thought before, honestly, that, oh, okay, is this actually growing something that we can't see? So here we are. This is where I am. All right. Have a wonderful day, and I'll be in touch soon. And stay well. Bye.